If you were the GM of the Blackhawks, what's your offer to Connor Bedard? Kyle Davidson says talks have started on an extension, and Bedard just became eligible to sign one on July 1st. Davidson said, I probably don't want to get too far into it, but we are talking. He made his thoughts very clear at the end of the season and subsequently in other interviews that he's committed to Chicago and wants to be here long term, and we obviously want him here long term. So there's mutual agreement there. So we knew this was coming, and it's going to be one of the hottest topics heading into next season if Bedard doesn't sign an extension prior to the season starting, with him entering the final year of his entry-level contract. But before we get into how much and how long, there are two things that you should probably know. One, the cap's going way up. Way up. $7.5 million this year, $8.5 million the next, and $9.5 million in 27-28. And two, the current CBA expires in September 2026 when the new one kicks in, which means the summer before, 8-year deals will go away because in the new CBA, 7 years will be the new max. So what does that mean for Bedard? Well, Chicago probably wants the full 8 years. It's a lower AAV, and a key piece, the key piece, is locked in for the foreseeable future, and you don't have to worry about paying him again if you do a bridge deal where he gets a mega deal in 3 to 4 to 5 years. Now, Bedard or his camp might prefer a shorter deal, right? You lock in big money now and then hit the market in your prime when the cap is absolutely exploding. If you're a player, if you're an agent, you're looking at this like, this is prime money-making years right now for my player and me. So Bedard's going to consider that 100%, unless he's like McDavid and he's like, I don't want this to be a distraction at all. Just lock me up, give me the money, and let's go out and try and become a successful team in Chicago. Let's bring the Stanley Cup back to Chicago, even though they're a very long ways away from that, and I'll get into that. But before terms in dollars, he should probably be asking Chicago, who are you going to be putting around me, and what's the plan moving forward? Those are key questions because Chicago, as it stands right now, are so far from being a contender. Forget contender. They're still very far away from being considered a playoff team, and that won't be the case next season and maybe for the next few years. They definitely have good young players that they hope will turn into legit NHL stars in the near future. But still, looking at this roster, it's so far away from being a playoff team. And looking at the Western Conference standings from last year, who's going to drop out in the next few years? Let's start at the bottom. The San Jose Sharks are improving. They're going to get better. They're kind of on a similar path to Chicago. I would say they might even be a step ahead. The Predators had a horrible down year. I expect them to be in the playoff mix this season. Seattle, who knows? Anaheim, they're ready to take that next step. Utah, super aggressive GM, ready to take that next step. Vancouver, still have a very good team. Off year, going to be better and going to be better for the next few seasons, especially if Quinn Hughes stays there and Thatcher Demko can be the goalie that we know he can be. The Flames, getting better. A team like Minnesota, getting better. Edmonton, Colorado, Los Angeles, Dallas, Vegas, Winnipeg are going to be there. So it's a long road ahead for the Chicago Blackhawks. And if you're Bedard, you have to ask these questions and be like, give me your plan. Let's see what we're going to do here. There's a lot of free agents that are going to come out in 2026 and beyond. Are those some players that we're looking at to bring in here? Because not only do we need some veterans in here, we need some studs to come play around me. So Kyle Davidson has to go to Bedard with some sort of concrete plan and be like, this is what we're going to do. But there's a few things they need to be concerned of. And one of them is allowing Bedard to play this year without an extension. And maybe that's what they're going to do, Bedard in their camp. And that hurts the Chicago Blackhawks because then there will be market pressure. And as an RFA, there will definitely be offer sheets. The cap is going up. And they also have to consider the 2026 UFA class. You have McDavid, Eichel, Kaprizov, Robertson, Kyle Connor, guys like Panarin, Nietzsche, Ovechkin, and Kempe. Now you have to assume McDavid, Eichel, and Kaprizov probably won't make it to market. I think they all sign with their respective teams, whether that's a long-term deal or a short-term deal. So right away, Bedard, yes, an RFA will shoot right to the top of the list of players that most teams want. So getting this guy locked in before the end of next season is crucial for the Blackhawks. All right, so what's the number and how many years? Well, if you do 8 years, you get him until he's 28 years old for his next deal. Very similar to what McDavid did after his entry-level contract ended. Signed an 8-year deal with Edmonton, and now he's becoming a free agent. He's in the last year of his deal. Or you could do a bridge deal, 4 to 5 to 6 years, similar to what JJ Peterka just did. 5 years at 7.7 with Utah. Matthew Knies with Toronto, 6 years, 7.75. And I'm not saying that's the number for Bedard. I just think that's the absolute floor for Connor Bedard. We're probably looking at a number, if he's doing a short-term deal, north of $10 million with the cap going up. There's no doubt about that. Now, I think the deal that makes sense to both parties is a long-term deal, and this is why. Chicago, you get cost certainty with a rising cap, and you just completely avoid offer sheet drama, and your superstar, who you're projecting to be a superstar, is locked in. You don't got to worry about anything until he turns 28 years old. And for Bedard, you secure the bag now. You get your 8th year. You're signing a massive deal. You're going to be well off. And then at the end of this deal, you sign another mega deal when the cap is absolutely through the roof, because who knows where that'll be once this guy turns 28. And if he explodes like he should as a player, every team in the NHL will want him. And maybe at that point, who knows? Chicago is a consistent Stanley Cup contender. Maybe they've won one already. I highly doubt it, but you never know. If this guy turns out to be the player we think he's going to be, pieces around him are going to improve, and you're going to attract better players. Chicago wants you. You want Chicago. Match made in heaven. I say get the deal done and move on. All right, so I'll ask you the same question that I did off the top. If you're the GM of the Blackhawks, what do you do? What are you offering Connor Bedard? And if you're Bedard, what do you do? Do you want to stay in Chicago, or should you just move on? Let me know in the comments below.